right. See a few people starting to trickle in. We'll go ahead and get started. So just a couple of quick housekeeping items for everyone. Just welcome to our Live Well, Incorporating Wellness Strategies into Classrooms series. Today, we've got our University Chief Wellness Officer and Dean of the College of Nursing, Byrne Melnick, presenting on making a case for student, faculty, and staff wellness at Ohio State. A couple of housekeeping items. If you're having any technical issues, please use the chat function in Zoom. If you need closed captions or captions through the webinar, there's a live transcript or a CC button on the bottom right in your Zoom menu. Just click that. The captions should pop up. If you have any questions for Byrne throughout the session, please type them in the Q&A feature. And if someone has a similar question to yours, just use the thumbs up button and the questions will populate to the top. We'll do our best to get all questions answered here at the end of the session. So without further ado, I would like to introduce Byrne Melnick, and I'll pass it to you, Byrne, to get started. Thanks for joining, everyone.
Thanks, David. Hi, everybody, and happy holidays. I am so excited to launch another series called Faculty Live Well. I'm going to be making a case today for wellness and why it is so key that we as faculty begin to really think about how we can integrate some wellness into our programs and in our curricula. But I want to start with a big dose of vitamin G for gratitude for all of you. It's been a character-building 2 years through the pandemic, and I can't thank you enough for all you've done for this university and for our students during these character-building years. I encourage everybody that if we can get up every morning and take and give a dose of vitamin G, it truly will improve our mood, our heart health, our sleep, our blood pressure, and our optimism. If you are sitting down right now, I'm going to ask you to please stand for at least 10 or 15 minutes. Sitting is literally killing us. If we sit 3 hours a day, that increases our cardiac risk by 30%. And if we sit on average 5 hours a day, that is comparable to smoking 1.25 packs of cigarettes on our body. I'm not kidding you. That is evidence-based. In addition, sitting is the biggest zapper of our energy and our students' energy. So if we want more energy and alertness throughout our days, we've got to sit less, stand more, move more, and beware of that chair. So I left sunny Arizona about 11 and a half years ago to come to Columbus, Ohio. I pitched a big dream. In addition to being dean of this fabulous College of Nursing, I wanted to be the first chief wellness officer at an academic institution in the country. I was so blessed that our former president, Gordon Gee, bought my suggestion, appointed me as Ohio State's first CWO. Now I'm in a network of 50 CWOs throughout the country, but universities throughout the United States really look to us at Ohio State as a leader in wellness. But why am I so passionate about wellness and prevention? I grew up in this small little coal mining town, 1 hour south of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, right on the West Virginia border. My dad was a coal miner. We lived in half of a little company house. We struggled financially, but I was born with rose-colored glasses on, and I still can make lemonade out of lemons any day. And that mental resiliency came in handy for me when I was 15 years of age, home alone with my mom, when she sneezed, stroked out, and died right in front of me. You can imagine how traumatic that was for a teenager. I suffered from terrible post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, and anxiety for a few years. There was no help for me in my little town of Republic, Pennsylvania. But you know the story. What doesn't break us only makes us stronger. And as a result of what I experienced as a teenager, I became passionate to become a nurse practitioner, then a psychiatric nurse practitioner, and go on and get my PhD so I could develop evidence-based cognitive behavioral interventions to help children, teens, and college students who suffer from depression and anxiety. Well, the saddest part of my mom's story, she had a history of headaches for over a year. And my dad kept saying, please go to the doctor, figure out what's wrong. Well, she went to her family physician just 1 week before she died. Her diagnosis, high blood pressure, given a prescription for a blood pressure medication that my dad found in her purse after she died. Behavior. Chronic disease affects 60% of people across the country, but 80% of chronic disease is totally preventable with just a few healthy lifestyle behaviors that I'll talk more about in a few minutes. So wellness is the optimal state of living well, regardless of where an individual is at on their spectrum of health. At Ohio State, we promote 10 dimensions of wellness because not everybody has a need to improve certain elements of well-being at the same time. Well, we had an epidemic of mental health issues as well as unhealthy lifestyle behaviors prior to COVID-19. Now we have a mental health pandemic inside of our COVID-19 pandemic as rates of depression and anxiety continue to climb. People have coped with the pandemic, with unhealthy eating, declines in physical activity. And we've really seen an increase in alcohol usage across the United States, particularly in professional working women. Our college students and young people really have been impacted by the pandemic. Since it started, about 25% of 18 to 24-year-olds have thought about killing themselves. Suicide is now the second leading cause of death in our young people. 1 out of 3 are suffering from clinical anxiety and or depression. And over 60% of college students who drop out of college do so because of mental health problems. So I'm going to show you just a little data from a national Healthy Mind study. This data was collected when 2021 from over 103,000 college students across the nation. Ohio State participates in these Healthy Mind studies. What this study showed, 41% of college students met the cutoff for depression on the valid and reliable PHQ-9. A third of them hit the cutoff for clinical anxiety. 23% reported they self-injured during the past year. 13% thought about suicide, and almost half of this sample set, most people would think less of somebody who has received mental health treatment. This is still so common. Mental health stigma is pervasive across our state and our country, and disparities are prevalent. If we see a colleague or a student who looks off, looks depressed, is having difficulty concentrating, one of the best simple things we can say to them, just 4 little words. Are you okay today? Just those little words often open a window of opportunity for somebody to say to us, no, I'm really struggling. And for us to be able to respond, it's okay not to be okay sometimes. Recognizing that is a strength. It is not a weakness. And we want to make sure everybody at Ohio State knows the new 988 suicide and crisis hotline number. I was so excited when they changed that number and simplified it. But we have to make sure everybody knows it and it's plugged in to their phones, because you never know when we're going to need it. During COVID-19, my wellness team conducted 5 random sample surveys of faculty, staff, and students, because we wanted to keep a pulse on what's the mental health, what are the healthy behaviors of our people here at Ohio State, and what can we do to help people more that we're already doing. So, April rates of anxiety and depression this past April slightly dropped in both of our student groups compared to last October. But as you see on this slide, current rates of anxiety for our students, almost 1 in 3 meet the cutoff for clinical anxiety. Almost 22% in our first year students. And our latest rates of depression in our student body, about 24% in our returning students and almost 19% in first year students. That's thousands of students here at Ohio State. And as far as our latest burnout prevalence, 53% of our first year students in April reported burnout. 93% of our returning students reported burnout. For our faculty and staff, burnout is affecting about 44%. That's the latest data. And I also want to emphasize in all of our studies during COVID, we saw healthy lifestyle behaviors like physical activity, sleeping at least 7 hours a night, healthy eating are positively associated with our students' mental health in all of our surveys. Students with less depressive and anxiety symptoms report that they volunteer more and engage more in physical activity. So we know if we really want to help our students' mental health, we've got to encourage them. Sleep at least 7 hours a night. Get more active. Eat healthy. Those things make a huge difference in concentration and mental health. Well, a lot of studies have been done during the pandemic with college students, as well as what are the current causes of burnout in our students. One, their learning environment, grading systems, lack of social support, faculty who might not be supportive, cultural insensitivity, and a perception that their personal needs aren't that important. And then there's personal factors. We know not all our students have the same coping and resiliency skills, which we know if we give those evidence-based cognitive behavioral skills, they are protective against both mental and physical health problems. We've got fabulous programs here at Ohio State. We just need our students, our faculty and staff to engage in those programs more. COVID-19 has also caused a lot of burnout. Maybe you're not depressed or suffering from clinical anxiety, but maybe you're at a state where you're languishing a little bit. Your motivation is a little down. That is normal. So many people throughout the country are languishing right now as we come out of the pandemic. So last year, President Johnson asked Melissa Shivers and I to co-chair a OSU Mental Health Commission, which we did. We involved a lot of faculty, staff, and students, as well as leaders across campus. We came up with 5 very key recommendations on how to improve the mental health and well-being of our students. You can see these 5 recommendations on this slide. Budget was allocated to each of these recommendations. Why does Ohio State really invest in the well-being of our students, our faculty, and staff? Number one reason: we care about our Buckeye family. We want everybody to be happy, healthy, and engaged. But when I meet with our president as well as our senior VP for finance, they do want to know, what is the return on investment for the millions of dollars that we do invest in wellness here at Ohio State? So every other year, I do a return on investment calculation. At Ohio State, our ROI averages between $2 and $4. Very importantly, though, for our students, when our students are more mentally and physically well, they improve their academic performance. And there is absolutely an association between investment in student mental health and retention. So we take a comprehensive, multi-component, evidence-based quality improvement approach to wellness at Ohio State. We target evidence-based interventions to individuals and small groups, to faculty, to supervisors and managers, to top leaders, and to the system. And we do all of that while focusing intently on building and sustaining a culture of well-being, where healthy choices, seeking mental health help is the standard or the norm. And then we diligently track outcomes. And we use that outcome data to target areas that really need improvement. The United States healthcare system is still way too sick care, crisis care focused. We have got to shift our paradigm from acute crisis care more to wellness and prevention. We will always need great chronic acute care, but we must invest more in the prevention piece, or else we're going to continue to see an escalation of chronic disease. We know these resiliency skills are protective against mental and physical problems. We've just got to build them up more in our students, our faculty, and our staff. I love this saying by Benjamin Franklin: an ounce of prevention, a pound of prevention is worth a cure. It is so critical to continue to build this fabulous wellness culture. We wouldn't send divers into a deep ocean without an oxygen tank. We can't send our students throughout life without instilling in them these protective resiliency skills. Our approach is multimodal. We've got everything for our students, from one-to-one coaching and counseling to fitness resources, peer-to-peer support, workshops, referral, counseling, consultation. We've got a fabulous wellness app for our students that we continually add resources, good programming to. A lot of our students still don't know a lot about the wellness app, so a lot do not use it. We've got a fabulous student wellness center, but it's really critical students know about it and engage with all the fabulous programs that we have. Counseling and consultative services offers counseling services, especially for students who have more acute problems. But we also have a fabulous suicide prevention program called Are You OK Buckeyes? It's a screening program that's anonymous that can pick up students who have real mental distress and get them help. We also offer a fabulous one-credit course called Health Athlete. We have this program for faculty and staff as well. It is fabulous. It's evidence-based. I've got a great team of people that teach it. And if you as faculty have not gone through this particular course yet, I really encourage you, check it out. Take a day. Focus on yourself, your own self-care, and come learn some fabulous evidence-based tactics. The other program we have that some colleges, including mine in nursing and veterinary medicine, are requiring for our students, it's called MindStrong. It's a 7-session weekly program that teaches cognitive behavioral skills, the same skills that you would get if you go to a counselor who is a cognitive behavior therapist. The evidence on this particular program has over 25 studies to show students, faculty, and staff who go through it experience less depression, stress, anxiety, and enhance their healthy lifestyle behaviors. But additional programming and services for professional, graduate, undergraduate students can be found at this website, wellness.osu.edu. So making sure that your students are aware of these resources are so important. I'm going to finish the last few minutes of my presentation today just encouraging you to take good self-care. We cannot do a great job as faculty unless we prioritize and take a little bit of time, a few days a week, to take good self-care. We can't keep pouring from an empty cup. So if you look at this one valid burnout question, I really want you to just reflect upon right now, based on your definition of burnout, how would you rate your own level of burnout right now? If you answered number one, I bet you are aligned with your dreams, your purpose, your passions. You prioritize your self-care. But if you're falling into the 3, 4, or 5 level, that's a big red flag. And I want to encourage you. It's a strength to recognize when we're burnt out and say, you know what? I got to use some of those vacation days. I got to get away a little bit. I got to engage more in things that bring me joy. On this slide, I've outlined some real effective strategies to prevent burnout and fatigue. We've got to set good emotional boundaries, and we've got to learn to get comfortable with saying no without guilt, because overcommitment can often lead to burnout. And I encourage you, cut your classes and your meetings down from 60 to 50 minutes. If you do that, you'll have 10 minutes of recovery time to move, to get up, take a walk, put on some music, move to that, do a little mindfulness meditation. And I want all of us to remember, although cardiovascular disease is the #1 killer in America, it is our behaviors that's truly the #1 cause of death and disease in this country. So if I have to finish by just offering you an evidence-based recipe for how to cut yours and your students' risk of chronic disease and mental health disorders by this significant amount, here's all we all need to do. Get active. 30 minutes, 5 days a week. You might say that's impossible. But if you cut your meetings from 60 to 50 minutes, you would have time to just get up, move, engage in a little bit of physical activity. 5 fruits and veggies a day, don't smoke. If you don't drink alcohol now, don't start. But if you do, limit it to 1 drink a day. And then everybody asks me, Bern, how big can that drink be? And I tell everybody not the size of the alcoholic beverages we get in Vegas. Next time you're faced with a choice, I encourage you to make the healthy one. And for the next 30 to 60 days, I encourage you, take one of those behaviors that I just showed and commit to getting a little bit better at just one of them. It takes 30 to 60 days to make or break a new habit. Well, this is why when I don't feel like getting up and getting active or eating healthy, I do it for my family. Who will you do it for? Who will be your motivator? I didn't have a mom to see me graduate from high school, college, go on to have my 3 beautiful daughters. I do a lot of what I do for them. If I could motivate you enough, This little girl is going to do it. And I'll finish with this clip.
Do it! Just do it! Don't let your dreams be dreams. Yesterday you said tomorrow. So just do it! Make your dreams come true. Just do it! Some people dream of success. And you're going to wake up and we're going to work hard at it. Nothing is impossible. You should get to a point where anyone else will quit. And you're not going to stop there. No, what are you waiting for? Just do it. Just do it. Yes, you can. Just do it.
I just love that clip. So I would encourage you, don't hesitate to email me at melnick.15 if I can answer any questions, help you in any way. But please tune in for our upcoming series for some great evidence-based strategies for your students and yourself to live well. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Bern. I don't see any questions in the Q&A. If anyone has any quick questions, we'll stay on for another minute. Otherwise, we really appreciate everyone joining today.
Have a blessed holiday season, everybody, and do stay well. Thanks so much.